Hi, I'm Paul Kirgis. I'm the Dean of the Blewett School of Law here at the University of Montana. And I'd like to take a few minutes to talk to you about our joint JDMPA degree. We are the only law school in America that has an accredited MPA program here within the law school. And that provides some unique opportunities for our students to complete both degrees at once. So today I'm going to ask the chair of our Department of Public Administration and Policy, Sara Rinfret, and a couple of our students in the joint JDMPA program to join me to talk about how that program works. Hi. So I have with me Dr. Sara Rinfret and our students Marthe, VanSickle, and Hallee Kansman. Dr. Rinfret is the chair of our Department of Public Administration and Policy and the director of our MPA program. Marthe VanSickle is a native Montanan, a student in her third year in the JD program and also about to complete her MPA degree. She is the president of our Student Bar Association and is also pursuing her certificate in Indian law. And Hallee Kansman is a native of Michigan, also a joint JDMPA student about to graduate this spring. And Hallee is an editor of our Public Lands and Resources Law Review and pursuing her certificate in Natural Resources and Environmental Law. Thank you all for joining us this morning. I'll start with Dr. Rinfret. Dr. Rinfret, can you talk a little bit about why a person would be interested in getting an MPA degree? What is that degree?
Yeah, I think, the fundamental basics of an MPA degree is that if you're committed to giving back to your community, so public service, but if you want to be trained in public policy analysis, how to effectively manage people, to writing your own budget, it provides a really nice nexus between law and policy. And so we're the only accredited MPA program in the School of Law in the nation. So I think that makes a really competitive career advantage for our students.
So what kinds of things do you study in an MPA program?
Yeah, so we, will study effective, behavior and writing your own agency mission and organization theory and understanding how you can best serve the needs of your community by writing a budget and understanding the political ramifications of the budgeting process to managing people with inside an organization through human resource management. So policy analysis, human resource management, fundamentals of public administration to public sector budgeting.
And how are your courses taught in the MPA program?
I think one of the coolest things about our program is our course delivery. We have national accolades for offering the program fully online, fully in person, a hybrid. And then our most recent addition is our robot. So it's a Segway, an iPad on a Segway where students maybe in rural Montana that don't have access to an education can attend our in-person classes via robot. Cool.
And so what's the schedule for the program? Do you have to start in the fall, kind of the way you do for the JD degree?
Our program, one of the things that we really tout ourselves on is that it's very flexible. So you can do rolling admission, you can start summer, fall, or spring. We have the awesome JDMPA program that has more than 20 students in it. You can get that in 3 years. We have several certificate programs as well, which is just 4 classes, and 3 of those can count back to your law degree.
So let me turn to our students. Marthe and Hallee, you're both on pace to graduate this spring with both your JD and your MPA. Can you talk a little bit about why you made that choice to get that JD degree? Marthe, I'll start with you.
Sure. I didn't start law school planning to do a joint degree, but it was offered to us early on in our first year. And I recognize the great value in being able to take maybe an extra class per semester and some classes over the summer, and some of the time not pay extra tuition. And so there was a huge value in that financially. And we were advised by some of our JD professors that if we had considered getting a master's degree, that it would be a good option to do at once.
Great. How about you, Hallee?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to pursue a joint degree while in law school. I had that kind of going in. It just was deciding what master's to go for. So either the EVST or the MPA. And then I sat down with Dr. Rinfret, and she told me about her environmental policy class that she teaches. And I thought that that would be the best class to take for what I wanted to pursue in my law career. So that's when I made the decision to do MPA.
And how did you fit the MPA classes in? Obviously, you're very busy in law school getting your JD. How did you make it work?
Yeah, the MPA program, it makes it incredibly easy to take classes in conjunction with law classes because all of them start at about 4:30 in the afternoon. So it starts after all law classes end, and then they're once a week, which is super nice. You can fit it into your schedule. And then also the classwork differs from law readings and law assignments, so it just makes a nice balance.
Yeah, Marthe, how about you?
I agree with Haley. The afternoon classes are really beneficial. The other thing is that a lot of the classes are offered online, which allows you to really be flexible with your time, and when you're able to do coursework is much more flexible.
Right. So somebody who has a young family, something like that, you can kind of work this in around that schedule.
Definitely. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I find it beneficial to have the option to do online or in person.
Have you been able to use any of your classes to satisfy both requirements?
Yes. So I found that there was actually a lot more flexibility with JD classes going towards the MPA, but they actually go both ways. Some of our JD classes function as electives within the MPA program, and so those go directly into the MPA program. And so that's what makes it viable for us to be able to finish this degree in 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Haley, how about you?
Yeah, I echo that exact same comment, especially with if you want to pursue a certificate as well in the law program. You can count a lot of those JD classes into your MPA program. And then also, like Dr. Rinfret mentioned, there's the certificate in the MPA program, which some of those MPA classes can count towards JD credits.
Well, so having done all this, and it's a huge amount of work, looking back, I mean, are you happy with this? Was it worth it?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm a huge advocate for the joint program. I've spoken about it before to a number of audiences. And I wrote in my graduation portfolio that, you know, I've said it a million times, but this degree is a perfect pairing for law students who want to pursue government work or policy work in particular. It's a perfect balance that like the law degree humanizes from the MPA degree. Mm-hmm. It's a perfect balance.
How about you, Marthe?
I agree. I think that I tend to think of the MPA program as, in undergrad, I was a science major and I didn't want to take humanities classes because they weren't focused on my degree, but in taking them, I recognized it gave me a well-rounded sense of who I was as a person. And I feel as a litigator, as a public servant, we will have a much more well-rounded sense of who we are and a well-rounded sense of our skills as well.
So, Dr. Rinfret, I suspect there are going to be people who are intrigued by this possibility, but worried about starting down a path that may prove to be kind of overwhelming. It's a lot to do. If you take some of your MPA courses, but ultimately decide that the full degree isn't for you, can you still get some benefit out of it?
Yeah, we have 3 graduate level certificates. They're only 4 classes. So we have a certificate in nonprofit administration, executive level, graduate level certificate. We have a certificate in public administration and a certificate in public policy. So 4 classes, you can do them online or in person. And as Hallee and Marthe has spoke about, is the other great thing about just the master's program of the JDMPA is that it's 36 total credits, but we already count 12 law credits towards our curriculum. So you're already halfway there. So a lot of great opportunities. And we always tell students, like, come in, sit in one of our classes. We'd be happy to have you and make sure that it's something that you want to do. So come and visit with us. We'd be happy to have you in our courses.
So 12 of your law credits can count towards your MPA, and then do some of your MPA courses can count back toward your law degree too?
Yeah, 9 credits can count back towards your law degree.
So that's a cost savings as well. Those are courses that count for both that you don't have to pay for separately.
Correct.
Great. Well, this is really helpful. Thank you all so much for taking a few minutes to talk about the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.